All right, people. So our next review is going to be for Springsteen, Deliver Me Nowhere. Um, this is about the life and times of Bruce Springsteen, but a very specific point
Yeah.
in time in Bruce Springsteen's life here. And Bruce Springsteen in this movie is played by Jeremy Allen White. People might know Jeremy Allen White, being the lead actor of The Bear. He's going to be in CGI Jabba the Hutt's son and the Mandalorian, so you get to see him in all his glory there. But yeah, so this is a specific time in Bruce Springsteen's life when he was creating the 1982 album Nebraska there. So it's kind of that. And this is where he's kind of like, he's very famous now, but he's like on the cusp of becoming even bigger than what he already is. Where he's crafting his Born in the USA album, which of course people know that's becomes like a smash hit and everything like that. So he's like right on the cusp of becoming even bigger than what he is right now. But yeah, this is a more kind of quieter kind of portrayal there of this of his life there, narrowing in on that specific time in his life. Um, he also is kind of throughout the movie, kind of with this album being a more personal, deeper album, really reflecting on his past and his life. And especially you see flashbacks of him dealing with his father in this, who in this is played by Stephen Graham there, and also him dealing with his label and the kind of the, classic push and pull that they're doing with him. It's like, hey, we love what you do and we feel like you're gonna make some more great hits for us. What else you got? Like, and he's like, okay, well, I got this really depressing, dark fucking album about my life. Oh, okay, that's cool. What about doing something a little bit more, a little bit more upbeat, and also, he has the thing with this album, Nebraska, where he's like, I don't want any press for it. I don't want to do any tours for it. I don't want to do anything media for it. I just want to just put out the album with none of that. And like, oh, okay. That's fucking crazy, but all right, let's see there. But hey, man, you're the boss. You're Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
It is nuts.
maybe it'll work out. So that's kind of the new trend I see, like with these biopics now, where it's
Mhm.
like instead of encompassing a whole person's life, they'll just focus on maybe a few years in that person's life there, and they'll kind of narrow in on that for a more, I guess, tighter narrative. And especially since, I mean, we've talked about it before, a lot of biopics, especially the musical biopic, gets very tropey. It's very, tired now. The
Yeah.
rise, the fall, the rise again. That kind of is a little bit overdone. So they
I
try to
mean, it
make
was so much to the fact that they made Dewey Cox,
Dewey
s
Cox the Walk Hard story.
yeah, Walk Hard. That was a whole, movie making fun of the music biop.
Yeah. But what'd you think about this one?
I feel it's very paint by numbers. It's not really a rise, it's a very specific situation, which they're actually doing a lot more instead of doing a like Johnny Cash, like from the very beginning, or James Brown from the very beginning of their life to a certain point to like near the end of their career. This one's like, all right, what was he doing when he was working on his sixth studio album, Nebraska? And it's he was struggling through a lot of his own issues, and people were making comments about that, and like, you're not going to promote your album at all. Please promote your album. No, I don't want to do that. Seriously, we're going to lose money on this. I know. I don't care. I already did 5 other albums. I'm fine with that. And
Mm,
it's just all these other inner workings, everyone else trying to figure out what he's trying to do and what he wants out of this because he's going through stuff. And then there's a lot of big expositions of no, he's not just healing himself. He's healing America and the things that they've been through. And it's just a lot of lofty dialogue, and you throw that all in, and then there's a couple of performances in here, one big performance, and then it ends. And Nebraska was released, and he went on to make 20 other albums, and he's one of the most successful artists of all time.
mm, yeah. And one of the because like a lot of these musical biopics, it's like what demons was this person dealing
He
with?
always
Was it
got them demons.
was it alcohol? Was it sex? Was it
Abuse.
drugs? Was it all three,
Yeah.
at the same time?
Yeah.
Here it seems like Bruce Springsteen, like his demons were and maybe still is depression. He was fighting a lot of depression. in his life there and seeking help for that and trying to combat that, and especially combat that through music. And we see that kind of him working that out. So I like a lot of those moments in it. And Jeremy Allen White, I mean, he's a very good actor. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And he get again shows how talented he is, because I think it's a lot of him doing the singing for a lot of those parts, and he puts on his Bruce Springsteen voice there. I'm not I listen to Bruce Springsteen. I'm not like, I
Mhm.
don't know much about his life, or I haven't listened to all his albums. I've listened to a lot of the big hits and everything like that, and I like those. But I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like a massive Bruce Springsteen fan. But I think for the most part, at least for me, I think he does a decent job there at really capturing Bruce Springsteen and capturing kind of a little bit. It doesn't come off as parody or like a SNL sketch. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I thought his performance is strong. I think everything around is strong. I just think it's failed by its very conventional script, which isn't bad. It's just very paint by numbers.
Mm,
Uh, it's shot technically well. I think that's one of the best things I'll say about it. And if you're looking for an individual that kind of sort of looks like Springsteen when he was younger, more in the way he acts on stage and some of his mannerisms, I think they did a good job on that.
mm, yeah. What you think about the supporting cast here? You get some good supporting
Yeah,
actors in it.
I think everybody did their job fair enough.
Mm. You got Jeremy Strong, got
Yeah.
Paul Walter Hauser, who seems like this is his year. He's been in
Yeah, I
almost
know. He's been in everything.
like 3 movies or something this year. Like, he's been in a lot of movies. Paul Walter Hauser there. But yeah, so he's in there. Jeremy Strong always is also really great in a lot of stuff he's in there. And yeah. So like you said, paint by numbers. Like, even though like it's trying to avoid a lot of those biopic tropes, and trying to be this really deep personal story, it still is kind of like, okay, it's your very paint by numbers with nothing really spectacular happening here as far as the movie goes. And besides for the performances, there's nothing really wowing you really to this. Like, it's kind of how I felt a little bit about like how you felt about Good Fortune that we just talked about. Like, it kind of
Yeah.
drags.
Yeah.
I think at
This one especially drags.
certain points there. They also throw in like, he has like this love interest in the movie there, who, he's kind of meeting and dating there. Those scenes are okay. I mean, and then there's a moment where he, it's like, I can't be with you, because I'm just a tortured artist, and you know what I mean. I can't deal with you right now, and it's like this back and forth there with that. Um, yeah, I mean, I think, like, I don't know. I mean, if you were a big Bruce Springsteen fan, I don't know if this would really impress you that much, and this would be what you're waiting for. You know what I mean? To see his life dramatized on screen there. Um, but I think I haven't been impressed by a musical biopic since maybe Rocket Man. I think Rocket Man was
Mm,
the last one I really was very, very much impressed by what they did with that. And they made it where it was kind of like a musical where it was using his music to tell like his life, and they were kind of using it like that. And I like the way the structure, how they did that. And I forgot the director of that one. And I think you also bring up the James Brown one as well? Did
I
you
did.
also? And the James Brown one, what they do with that one is they do like, those are treated like chapters. Like,
Yeah. Like in a book.
yeah, and it's like different sequence of his life, told kind of out of order and everything like that. Like, him as a young boy, him as an old man, him in the middle of his successful career. And it's kind of like, yeah, like you said, chapters of a book, that's kind of bouncing back and forth between. Like, what did you think that this movie needed to maybe add a little something more to it, you think?
Uh, I would say, honestly, probably cut back on a couple scenes, focus a lot more on the because a lot of it they focus on his some of his abuse and kind of traveling around local areas and explaining himself and a lot of this. You almost in a way almost I wish they almost kind of made him a little bit more larger than life in a way where you got to know aspects of him, but almost like you didn't need to get it as heavy handed as they gave it. Like, I'm going through this, and this is what I'm going through, and this is so it's not as paint by numbers, and but it's hard to do in kind of this kind of script because you're locked in such a very specific period of time. It's not a lot
Mm,
of wiggle room, you know.
mm,
I
yeah,
don't. I can't really. I can't really tell you at this time.
yeah,
Maybe in a couple of days, maybe in a week, I could give something else. But
yeah. Um, I'll play a little bit of it here.
yeah, go
There's
ahead.
a little bit of him like kind of singing there, and I think, like I said, I think for the most part it is him kind of doing the singing. I don't want it to be like our Elvis review where there was tons of people in the comments going like, "Did you know that Austin Butler was singing really Elvis?" Like, all right, bro,
Yeah,
calm
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
But here it is right here. So this is him doing "Born in the USA" right here.
Born down in a dead man's town. The first kick I took was when I hit the ground. End up like a dog, that's me
Like he
beat
gets the
the
real
ground
raspiness,
till
the
you
real kind
smell
of
No,
like
it's quite well done.
yeah. So it is, quite impressive there. And like I said,
Yeah.
when they yeah.
Mhm.
And when they of course when everybody's listening to it, they're like, holy shit, like this is gonna be huge when they're
Oh
kind
yeah.
of doing it.
Born in
But
the USA was the album after Nebraska too.
yeah. So I think they were kind of like, well, since this is coming down the pipeline, we can maybe take the hit with Nebraska, which Nebraska did end up being very successful as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a surprise because they didn't think it would be, but it paled in how successful Born in the USA was.
yeah.
Like Nebraska was good. It was a good hit, but Born in the USA blew up,
Mm,
and that
yeah.
was 2 years later.
So, uh, Dusk, go be your final thoughts, rating.
I think this is a low tune in. I thought it was fine. It was kind of paint by numbers, but if you enjoy Springsteen, this movie's not bad.
Mm,
And I got to commend the singing from the actor. Again, his mannerisms, the supporting cast, the technicality of the movie. It drags in certain areas, but it's not as terrible as some of the ones get. And we've had so many years of trying to do or doing multiple musical biopics that eventually this one just kind of settles in a good middle, like kind of middle ground where it's not too bad and it kind of does what it needed to do. You wish that maybe it could have been improved or better, but in the end, it's not really a disappointment. It's just not a full disappointment. It's just it's fine.
mm, yeah. So you give it a stream it or was it?
I give it a low tune in. I'll be generous.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I just kind of like it's there. It's fine. It doesn't really super wow me in any certain way there. In terms of kind of what it was doing. But it's decent. If you want to, walk down memory lane with Bruce Springsteen and maybe his life and some of that moments and I don't think a musical biopic, as far as when it's like in a format like this, you're not gonna get like the good in-depth, story of how he crafted these songs and how he really did it. I mean, they do some of that. They like, for example, they do like Badlands, like how he came up with that song, and like he was inspired by this TV movie there with what's his name, Martin Sheen or yeah, I think that's his name. With Martin Sheen there. So you get a little bit of that, but if you really probably want, you probably won't want to listen to more like interviews or documentaries or something like that. But if you just want to have a decent time with it, maybe it slightly accomplishes that. But this is coming from somebody who's, like I said, just a slightly casual fan of Bruce Springsteen there. So for me, I give it just a stream it for me, just a stream it. So a low tune in from Dusk and a stream it for me for Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere.